And we are live. What's good, Josh? And man, BL Saint. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. How y'all feeling? Happy Friday, man. I hope y'all are doing all right. Down here in Florida, man, the summer's just about over. 6 more days until school starts. So as y'all know, when school starts, I'll be back on my schedule. So I'll be, Monday through Friday, we'll be going live at 6 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, we'll be going live at 2. So, it won't be no more, hey, man, I ain't getting a notification. Hey, man, where you going? We'll be back on schedule for the school year. So it's going to be all good. And we'll definitely have I Really Want to Know and Downrange podcast split off. I should have that done by this weekend, guys. I got caught up doing a whole bunch of other stuff, and I just haven't taken the time to complete the separation between the two platforms. But I'm still putting out downrange content, as you guys have already seen. We were talking about the latest Trump indictment, and we were talking about that the police made a mistake in Dallas, and they held a family at gunpoint thinking they were in a stolen vehicle. So, we're still putting the content out. We just got to split it up. I hope y'all are doing well. Today, man, we got a special guest, one of my OGs. Y'all all call me Big Uncle. Y'all call me an OG. Well, this is one of my OGs. This is the guy that got me out there. Everything I know about traveling, everything I know about all the places I've been and all these great stories I have, I got because I've been traveling with this cat. He showed me the game. And so he hit me up. He was like, hey, bro, I want to go on the podcast, man. I want to talk about something. I'm like, when you want to go, bro? We could go right now if you want to. Like, nah, we can just do it tomorrow. So he's here. I just want y'all to meet him, man. Y'all have seen him on this platform before. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Perry Davis Jr. Esquire. What's good, fam?
What's up? How you feeling tonight?
Oh shoot, I'm all right. I got plans. I got stuff to do later on. You know what I mean? Later. I'm waiting for the sun to go down.
Right.
What's the temperature like back home?
Hell, slightly under hell, about 95.
Ooh, that heat wave finally. It was hitting y'all too. I wasn't sure how far that heat wave went.
Oh yeah, it's killing us up here. It's killing us. And I got that black car. That ain't happening at all.
Oh yeah, yeah. We down here. That standard Florida stuff. It hasn't been too humid. I mean, it's been normal Florida hot. Right. But I'm hearing about this heat wave. It's like the West is burning down.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot out here. Yeah, I did. I called you earlier today because I wanted to talk about these passport brothers. It's kind of funny to me because when we was traveling, initially it wasn't called passport brothers. It was just getting away. Getting out of here.
Just a trip.
Just a trip. Just a trip. Trying to find something new, go somewhere that we had never been before. So it's funny because, I go back and I think about when I first started, traveling, which was about 1995, 96, somewhere around there. My first trip was to Cannes, France, with Renee from Renee and Angela for the music festival. And then we kicked it off after that. You and I went to Aruba after I discovered Aruba. I felt like Christopher Columbus, the other side of Aruba, not the good side, the other side, But I listened to some of these passport brothers. And actually, I've seen a lot of them in Medellin when I take my trips over to Medellin. And it's funny to watch the mistakes they make and how they act. It's really hilarious to see them and listen to them talk, and they don't know what they're talking about. But it's a funny situation right now because they have taken some of these countries and they have literally destroyed the country with, invading the country. It's almost like they're trying to turn every country into the Dominican Republic. It's really funny out here.
Yeah, man, I feel you on that because I've been watching the same stuff. And I came to the conclusion that most Americans don't need to be traveling, especially internationally. I think Americans should start small and first leave their neighborhood, leave their city, leave their state, work their way up to a point where they can leave the country. Because there's so many stories out here of there's this story. I don't know if you're aware of the story about the TikToker, the sassy trucker. I think she calls herself. She's a truck driver in America, but she drives around with skimpy outfits on or whatever. She's basically thirst trapping to get people to send her, donations or whatever. Well, she went over to Dubai, and apparently she got into a little yelling match with some attendant over a rental car or something to do with a rental, and now she can't leave Dubai. So they took her passport. She was charged as being, I guess, investigated for crimes that she may or may not have committed over there. So And then, of course, her family is here saying how, oh, this is, she's a victim and this is bad. We should do something about it. How about you just keep her out of Dubai? Like, what do
right.
you need to, because you've been to the Middle East.
Right. And now that you said it, I was thinking about a guy, Cuba Dave. He used to go to Costa Rica all the time, and he would post various spots to go to for women in Costa Rica, advertising, go here, go there. But he didn't realize that that's against the law in Costa Rica. Prostitution wasn't against the law, but to publicize it on the internet was against the law. So they caught him at the airport. He spent 3 years in jail, never had a trial, just 3 years in jail, and they eventually told him to get out the country. So when you go to different countries, their laws are not our laws. You better understand what you're doing over there, and a lot of them don't. It's funny, everybody thinks that American law, Americans are the greatest. They don't care nothing about American law over there. They got their own laws.
They sure don't. And that's some crazy stuff. We got Brother Mandrell's in the building. What's good, fam? I see you, man. My favorite Green Beret. We're going to talk about someone who knows how to travel. This man knows how to travel. He saw probably the entire world through the sights of his weapon as a special forces operator in the United States Army. Now he's not. Hey, guys, go out there and check out Brother Mandrell's channel. He's out there showing you how to get yourself in shape. He purposely got fat so he can show y'all how to lose weight. Make sure y'all going over there and checking him out. And I think it's the Mindset. Brother Mandrell, drop the link in there, man, so people can find you easily, man. I think it's the Mindset 211. I think that's what it is. Forgive me. It's a new channel, so forgive me if I forgot. But good to see you, brother. So, Perry, man, I agree with you, bro. I think that, like I said, I think most Americans should have to step themselves up to a point where they can leave the country. Americans don't appreciate knowledge. They don't appreciate education. You need to educate yourself on these areas that you plan to visit.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't, you wind up just like Perry said. You do something as simple as I'm just taking a picture. All right, well, that's fine in America in some states, but that's not okay in some countries. And he lucky he just got to sit in jail for a few years. You break some of these laws, you get hurt by these people.
Oh, not only that, but he didn't realize even in jail, they don't feed you this. Family members, somebody got to bring you food. So he's in another country with no family or friends, He's lucky he didn't starve to death over there.
Wow. See, I didn't realize that.
It's a totally different system. You go to jail in a foreign country, it ain't like going to jail in America. 3 meals and a cot promised you,
Hey, for real, that's crazy. We got Brother Dino Dinosaur in the house, man. What's good, fam? Checking in all the way from the United Kingdom. He's like, when is DL Saint Lit coming back? Yo, Perry, I was on the other night, man. I came back from Salsa, and I wanted to talk about Trump. And man, I had a few, so I came on here and had a good old time. Man, they be like, man, when you coming back lit? Maybe tonight. I'm gonna be out tonight. Ain't no telling. I might come back tonight and tell some stories, man. Who knows? If y'all like that kind of stuff, I can accommodate you. Now, the thing with me drinking though, guys, I gotta understand. Pretty soon, I'm gonna be working with a personal trainer. She's gonna change my diet. We're gonna change my workout routine, my regimen, and I'm not gonna be able to eat any junk food. I'm gonna have to cut out just as much sugar as possible. So like no sodas, no sugary drinks, and no alcohol. So, Brother Dino, I'm gonna give you I'll give you some lit DL Saint up until I start that workout regimen. Because for 3 months, I'm gonna have to no alcohol, and no sugar. I'm showing these young boys that if I as an old man in his 50s could get back in shape, they ain't got no excuse if they in their 20s.
That's right.
So yeah, Perry, what do you think is the number one issue with these passport bros? Or why is it? Because I understand what you're saying about them messing up the game. These same dudes were messing up the game in America.
Right.
This is the whole simpleton thing came from. Why you think dudes out here taking women they don't know shopping and spending $1,000 first date and all this other kind of stuff?
I give you an example. There was a linebacker. Well, it used to be. Well, I'm not gonna say it used to be. It was easy to pick him out. He's with the Chargers now, and I saw him in Medellin. Him and his friends. He was running around at a club. They picked up about 10 or 12 women. They gave him about $400 or $500 a piece, and I'm like, "Are you nuts?" I said, "You got that same girl for $40. What is you doing?" But he thought it was no big deal because he played pro ball. So the next time you went to that club, them same girls was asking for $200 or $300. They was asking for $40. Because this guy had set up a standard for them, and they thought everybody in America was going to pay that. I mean, it's just amazing sometimes that they go to these places and not know what the going rate is, not care, and just just are ridiculous over there. And it's changed the whole game over there. And that's part of the problem. I think go over there with that American attitude. That's the other problem. They're usually loud, gold chains on, just and then they say, "Why did I get robbed?" Well, you're in a country where minimum wage is 92 cents an hour, and you're walking around with a gold chain on. Well, that'll feed them for about a month. So
At
that's
least,
why you got robbed.
at
I
least
mean,
they didn't want to rob you; they had to rob you.
they
It's the
had to rob.
difference.
Yes. Yeah, I had a friend, and I said I was going to tell you some stories. I had a friend of mine who I'm gonna use that term real loosely, a friend. But he went over there, he been going there for 5 years, but he still has not learned anything. The only thing he knows how to say hola. So for his birthday, he decided he wanted to have a threesome. So he takes a girl that he didn't know, and she invites another girl that he didn't know, goes out to a club and lets them pour his drinks. Of course, he got lit. They probably put something in his drink. He woke up the next day at 12 o'clock thinking he was still in Cincinnati, and they stole everything in his room. And I can't believe they stole. Well, what do you think? He's still fully dressed. He didn't know. I don't know what happened. What you got? You were a fool. Why would you take a girl that you don't know and tell her to bring another girl that you don't know and go someplace which you don't know what the place is? I mean, you got to use a little common sense, And they go over there thinking they slick and smarter than these girls. Most of those girls in those countries been in the game since they was 12 or 13 years old. You're not smarter than them. They done seen it all.
Now that part right there, P. Let's focus on that for 1 second. Americans have a hard time wrapping their mind around this. Most women in the game, and y'all know I use the term game over here a lot, and it doesn't just refer to womanizing.
Right.
Like when I talk about game, I'm talking about every aspect of game, whether we talking about the game of life, we talking about the political game, we talking about religious game, corporate game, the drug game, everything you have to have understanding, right? So over there, we use the term between, me and P and some others, we say the game when we talk about some of these women, because like you said, from a very young age, they are encouraged to go out there and earn, because you said that lifestyle is not illegal.
Right. It's not illegal, and it's survival. It's like guy asked me last time I was in Colombia. He said, "Man, is it like this every day?" I said, "You got to eat every day." I said, "This is what they do to eat. It's what they do to pay the rent. It's what they do to help their mothers." And a lot of mothers want their children in the game because it replaces them in the game, gets them out of the game. I had a girl told me a couple weeks ago, "I need to help my mother." I said, "Your mother 20 years younger than me. Tell her to go to work."
Right. Where's she at?
Yeah, where's she at? She should be out here in the game. But that's why they have a lot of. They want girls because they want them to replace them. Giselle de Blanco. They did her life story. She was called the godmother of cocaine. Her mother put her on the street at 8 years old in the game. I mean, it's just crazy. It's a different lifestyle over there. So people go over there thinking, "Oh, she's 18 and she don't know anything." She's been in the game 6, 7 years. What are you talking about? That's what they do.
And their society, is it frowned upon in the society, or is it just something that everyone understands? If you have this beautiful young person, of course she's gonna go out there and get this money.
Well, I remember when I was in Costa Rica, they did an article in the paper that said most countries' beautiful women, go to beauty pageants. Ours go to the game. So it's one of those things that they know that if you get let's say you get a job as an attorney over there, well, you might be making $20,000 a year. But you good in the game, you might make $50,000 a year. So which one are you gonna do? You gonna make 20? You gonna make 50? So it's one of those things that's what they do. You keep working at McDonald's, you make $8 a day. Who's gonna do that?
Right. For long.
Right. $8, 92 cents an hour. And what you gonna do with that? $275 a month. So they put them in the game because they gotta survive. Grandmother gotta eat, mama gotta eat, brother gotta eat.
Your brother got in trouble with the cartel. Now he owe a debt. I know that happened a lot. And we met some women in Aruba who were like, "Yeah, we here because our brother or cousin or some male in the family got in trouble with the cartel. And like, we got to go over here and pay his debt."
Oh yeah. Now you got girls from Colombia going to Mexico sending them to Dubai. I got a friend now. She's in Dubai. And I said, "Well, how do you get to Dubai?" They said, "They sent me to Dubai." I mean, that's what they do.
Man, that's crazy. And so for those people who say, well, these passport bros or these men who travel, these sex tourists, they're bad people. What's your take on that?
Well, it's really an interesting dynamic because when we started traveling, it was no name for it. We just going to different countries, enjoying ourselves, having a good time. We might stumble across the other side of Aruba that we didn't know about, But now it's they're going there specifically for that purpose, which is it's interesting because a lot of the guys that I see or talk to over there, they don't know what they're doing anyway. So they may go over there and then they get scared. I've seen guys go over there and just freeze up, scared to talk to a girl in 3 days, but they come home and say, "Oh man, I had a great time." What did you do? I was with you. I know you didn't do nothing. So it's just a different animal now. What these guys are over there, they're all making these videos and trying to be seen. I watch. I said, "Man, that ain't what." You don't even know where to go. One guy said, "Man, I don't even know what to do over here. I'm just coming over because I see everybody else coming." I said, "Who goes to a country, very little money, can't speak the language, and don't even know where you're going? You don't know what you're doing." But it's just it's a different type of person. I remember when I first started going to Colombia about 10 years ago, I was about the only black on the plane. I went there 2 weeks ago. It was like Soul Plane going down there. I was waiting on Snoop to start flying the plane.
Where Kevin Hart at?
Yeah, where Kevin Hart and Snoop at? I was like, what's going on over here?
Man, bro, that's crazy, but I get that. I mean, a lot of this stems from, and I know you're not aware of this part of the internet, but there's a part of the internet out there called the manosphere, the red pill, all these terms they have for it. And it's basically a bunch of guys, kind of like the dudes that you were describing. They want to be seen. There's so many men out there that they're just invisible to most women. They have little or no experience with women. They can't get on in America. And a lot of them are like, well, it's my fault because I'm under 6 feet. Because these guys are, well, you got to be over 6 feet. You got to have certain facial figures. You got to make over six figures. You have to be in shape, right? They say these things, and that's the only way you're going to get women. It's like, nah.
No. And it's funny because I know exactly what you're saying. And you know me. I've been hanging out in LA way before I was going anywhere. I was with Gangsta and Hologram.
The King of Melrose. They don't know nothing about that. The King of Melrose.
Nothing about that. So that I was I've been doing what I do forever. They got so, but I see these guys and I'm thinking you couldn't get nobody at home. So what makes you think you're gonna be all right over here? You can't speak the language. You don't know what you're doing. And a lot of them just don't. But they put that big front on like they doing this and doing that. And hey, I'm walking down the street and I'm looking in here. I'm in the park and okay, so what, but that's why you get these stories about a guy getting robbed or a guy doing this. Well, you're an idiot. You went over there ill prepared, not understanding the culture, not understanding the people, and thinking you were smarter than them, and they got you. That's what happens.
They got you, and they don't know where to stay. Well, hey man, I found this Airbnb, and it's lit, man. It's all the way up this hill. Like, what do you mean all the way up?
Oh, I had a guy from Miami. He said, "Man, I'm staying down in Commercial Central Commercial." I said, "Are you nuts? What you doing down there?" Yeah, it was a $20 hotel. Are you nuts? But they went down there, and the other guy was scared to death. I said, "Man, nobody stays down there who knows what they're doing." But that's what they go, and that's what they look for. It's just strange to watch them sometimes. But I was telling you another story how guys over there. I went to Costa Rica with a friend of mine, and he had never been. So we at that time, well, I guess it's back open now, the Del Rey Hotel. He was sitting in the Del Rey, and he was talking to one of the women in the Del Rey. He had his legs crossed, and me and another lawyer was with me. We were sitting there laughing. He's talking to the young lady. My name is so and so, and I'm a principal. And you need a drink. What you need to do? Where you working at, baby? And we just bust out laughing. He's like, don't pay them no attention. They just silly. And so she said, where are you working? I'm just curious. I'm so and so. Where are you working? And so we looked at it. We said, she working right now, fool. You are
right here.
House.
She working right here.
Yeah, she working you.
A big thing with that is these guys are dealing with a quality of woman that they never have any experience with. They can't talk to a dime like that back home or anywhere in America. So they see the most beautiful one they ever seen in their life, and they don't know. They're trying to be the Mac. And it's like, bro, man, just give her $30, man. She coming with you to the room.
I tell you another funny story. The guy, he was with a girl. We were in Panama, and so he was with the girl. And he's talking to her, showing her things, and I'm on the other side of the restaurant. And so the girl looks at me and does the Michael Jordan shake. She's like, "What's up?" So I walk over. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Why is he showing me all his kids and grandkids?" I said, "What are you doing, man?" He said, "I just thought she wanted to make conversation." I said, "She got a really limited conversation. Do you want me? Let's go." But he thought he had to buy 5 drinks, show his family, show all that. She didn't know what he was doing. I said, "You look like a fool in the middle of this spot, pulling out kids and grandkids."
But I tell folks that watch this platform, those very guys who go down there, they talk all this big stuff. They go down there like your friend you're talking about here. Those dudes fall in love. I mean, head over heels in love with these women.
All the time they fall. I call it the jump off syndrome. They meet the first girl and that's it. Oh my God. I got at least 3 friends that I know who've met a girl and still talk to the same girl 5 years later. Ain't seen no. They go over there all the time for one girl. One time we was at a restaurant here, and the guy was telling another friend of mine, "Yeah, man, I got this girlfriend down there and blah blah blah." I was like, "Girlfriend where?" I said, "What you mean? That ain't your girlfriend?" He said, "What do you mean?" "I see her when I go down there." I said, "You go down there 4 times a year. You think she only seeing you?" I said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "She got other. What about the other 48 weeks? You think she just laying around waiting on you to get there?"
Exactly. And it's like we talking about just dudes flying in. We ain't talking about the locals. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, I said, but in his mind, that was his girlfriend. I was like, "Man, you done lost your mind. That ain't your girlfriend."
Yeah.
But
At the end of the day, these guys are looking to make a connection, bro. They really looking to, because they can't find it here because they don't have any game. Brother Dino was like, he was asking me coming back. We got one of my Knights in the house. Jack Black's in the building. What's good, Knight? Best podcast in the game. Appreciate that, bro. Brother Dino was like, the living costs for locals are going up with the extra demand, causing resentment. Now, that's another thing too. That's what the remote work. You got people who are outpricing the locals. I know that's a big problem in Mexico. Have you noticed that problem anywhere that you've been traveling?
it's a problem actually everywhere now. In Colombia, it's a problem. The rentals for renters went up. Everything has went up. Hotels has went up because there's an influx of people with money coming in for 3 days, and so they keep raising these prices, which affects the locals. Now the locals, their money didn't go anywhere. They're still making 92 cents, an hour. They're not making any money. So the prices have went up, but most of the locals don't live in the areas that Americans are in anyway. So it really doesn't affect if you go to Medellin and they live in Bayo. Well, for 2 years I had an apartment in Bayo when I was with Andrea. That apartment, it was $300 a month for 3 bedrooms. Well, in Bayo, it's still $300 a month for 3 bedrooms. But who wants to live in Bayo? That's 40 miles away from where you want to be. So, but for the real locals, it probably hasn't affected them as much. But for those around the areas that the tourists come, yeah, there's a huge change in those areas. Prices have went skyrocket. Hotels are now, they charging you to bring people to your room. They charge you per guest. Before there was none of that. But now if you bring a guest, it's $25. Every time you bring it, even if the guest is up there to get a drink of water and say hi, it's $25.
Wow. Well, everybody want to make that money. Now, what do you say to those people who are out there and they're saying, "Hey, you guys are not us, but the people are only going for the sex"? Because I would argue, like, no. I mean, there are people who go down there to just have a good time.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's people all different. People go everywhere. People go to LA, they say for sex. People go to Miami sometimes for sex. People go to Vegas, they say for sex. You go different places for different reasons. Different people do different things. I know Colombia pretty well. I do all my commercials in Colombia. I know a lot of Colombians, so I think about I probably will retire either Colombia or Panama. So there's a lot of reasons why people go. There are people that do go there just for sex. There are people that go there for coffee. I've seen people go there just to go see Pablo Escobar's grave, that type of thing. Which I think is funny because the only people who talk about Pablo Escobar is Americans. Colombians don't care nothing about Pablo Escobar. I mean, that's like us talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. We don't want to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer. He ate everybody up in Milwaukee.
Right. Right.
we go there thinking Pablo's some big hero, and no, nobody. I've been in Colombia for 10 years. I haven't heard one Colombian talk about Pablo Escobar. Only Americans.
Wow. Yeah, that's the thing. So, but I wanted to throw that out there because so many people, they'll look at me like, well, I travel a lot. Why you got to go over there just so you can smash some chick? Like, nah, bro, I smash chicks in America. I smash chicks in Japan, South Korea, Germany. You know what I mean? Right. Wherever I go, if that's what I want to do, I do it.
Right.
But they're like, well, ain't it a problem? Don't you feel bad for? I'm like, no, I don't. I certainly don't feel bad for those women who was working when that football player rolled through and they was getting $500.
Right.
You know what I mean? For something they would have done for $40.
Right. Mm-hmm. They made a killing off of him, and I tried to tell him. He looked at me like, man, don't worry about it. I got a player used to play for the 76ers. He does the same thing. And I've seen him throw out money like, what are you doing? But that's what they do. And that kind of messes up the whole system,
Messes it all up. And we got Brother Scam Likely in the building. What's good, Dusto? He's like, I'm planning a trip to Panama City soon. Where to stay, hang out, and he wants to know anything helps. He's never been to Panama, and my brother here, Dusto, he's a dancer. Man, he does salsa, merengue, bachata, and he's asking Panama salsa bachata scene. He's just asking you questions. You got any advice for him?
I would stay at probably one of the Marriotts, either the Marriott Hotel or the Marriott Apartments. I would go, if you're going to eat, I would go to Restaurant Beirut on Friday. They have salsa dancers while you're eating all around. They dance and people join in. It's a pretty interesting restaurant actually. And for a club, I would go to Habanas. Habanas is right across the street from what I think the Marriott. I don't know if the Marriott is still there, but it's right down the street from the Restaurant Beirut. You go to Habanas, you go to Club Miami, you go to the Palace, but you definitely have to go to Habanas Cigar Lounge. It's an experience. Let's put it like that. And if you just want something to chill out, Golden Time is pretty nice too. But
and he's saying which Marriott? Because there's only a couple down there, right?
No, there's about four. There's about four Marriotts down there. There used to be it was the main one. I don't know. I think somebody told me they got sold. But the Courtyard is attached to a mall. That's a slick Marriott. Then you got the Marriott Apartments. They got a Marriott where you get a whole apartment for the same price. So that might be the best buy. But just any Marriott that's in the inner city is pretty slick. Don't go to the Marriott by the airport. You're too far away. You need the Marriott within the city, and they're all within a 3 or 4 block radius.
Okay. Any places he should stay away from, or like any activities he should be leery of?
Every time I went there, people wanted to go to the Panama Canal. That is the most boringest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's like watching paint dry. You take an hour and a half, 3 hours for a ship to pass. Okay, now what? But but people like that. If you like that, that's great. But I don't. I mean, the malls there are spectacular. Panama's a real slick place. Now, there is no beach, quote unquote, beach in Panama City, although the water surrounds Panama because that water is contaminated. You got to go out on the causeway and find a better area. But Panama's slick. If you go like a Monday through Thursday, you can go to Colón, Panama. That's the garment district, which is about an hour away. Every major store has a store within the garment district, and what you might pay $100 for here, you'll pay $10 in the garment district. So you can pick up some clothes, whatever you want, and then bring it on back.
Okay, I'm sitting here writing some notes.
I did a tour for 11 guys. They paid me to take them to Panama, so I know most of the places in Panama.
Okay, and you spent quite a few trips to Brazil. I haven't gone to Brazil with you yet, but I mean, hey, y'all heard it right here, man. If y'all trying to holler at Perry, man, hit me up. I'll put you in touch with Perry. And he'll put together a trip for you. It's gonna make is because Perry took me to Aruba. I remember the first time I went to Aruba with Perry. Man, you want to talk about a great time? And that was, like you said, that was before I discovered the other side of the island. We was just over there where the golfing was and where that Hooters was, and just had a great time. Have you been to back anytime to Aruba lately?
I was in Aruba in March. I went there for a weekend trip. And it was cool. I had a good time. Typical, it's not what it was. Before, you remember, it was 40 bars on the other side. Now it's about 15 to 20.
Oh,
but it
really?
was, it was a great. Alex's bar is gone. That bar is closed down.
Alex was the man. Shout out to Alex, wherever you are, brother. He was the man.
He's still there. Black and White is closed down. But they had a few of them that was, about 15 on the strip that was still cool.
All right, that's cool. Look at Scam like he's like I'm lazy. I want to be close to the action, and I am cheap. What's the strength of the dollar in Panama these days?
I haven't really checked the strip because I've been going to Medellin a lot. I know the Medellin dollar, but
That's
you got to
that's
remember
off the chain.
Panama.
That's off the chart right now, bro.
Yeah, but Panama takes American dollars, so it's
Oh,
really
so
it ain't really nothing. You ain't getting no advantage over there. They want U.S. dollars.
right, so that's no love. Hey man, sorry about the cheapness, but just book early then. Book early. My brother Rook's in the building. Brook, what's good, fam? What's good, fam? Got the wireless mics, man. Rook sent in a super chat, told me to go ahead and get those wireless Rode mics. I got them. They just came in, got the box downstairs. Just got to learn how to work them so I could go out and do on the scene interviews. It's real cool, Perry. You just look clip on mic right here. You turn it on, it's wireless, and you can just have interviews anywhere. Brother Look is saying go to Panama in February, dry season and Carnival. Oh, okay. I ain't never been down there for that.
Yeah. Carnival and Cartagena, Colombia too is off the chain in February.
Okay, that's what's up. Shout out to Rook. So we were saying, for these passport bros, I'm trying to put together a quick little list. We gonna, we'll at the very end we'll go back and go over the list. But number one, watch your spending, right?
Sure.
And watch what you do and passport bros, watch what you do and where you go. Number two, learn something about the area before you go. Wherever it is you're going, learn something. What else should we talk about? What would be the number three thing you tell these passport bros? Because they out here messing up, man.
Oh, they messing up big time. And stop being so loud. I mean, a lot of the countries, they're loud, so people know who they are, they know who their target, and then, they just loud. They're loud on the plane, they loud in the country, they just loud. It's just, I was like, man, y'all just shut up.
It's a cultural thing too, man. These youngins, because maybe it's because of the way we grew up. I love being in the shadows. I don't want nobody to see me. I don't want you to be loud around me.
Mm-hmm. And they're very loud. I mean, it's like Colombians. When I first started going to Colombia, the first thing they told us was how to dress. You don't wear shorts. You don't wear shorts in Medellin. You wear shorts in Cartagena. Well, now you see these people that don't know what the rules are. So you can always see the brothers in shorts. You can always say, he's a passport bro. He got on shorts. He got.
Perry froze up on us. I'm still here. We're gonna keep Perry there until it unfreezes. But what he's talking about, how to dress and wearing shorts, that's the very first thing he told me. First time I went to Medellin, I packed some shorts with me. And Perry was like, what you doing with them shorts? Man, go in, like, take them out, go put some pants on.
Right.
Hey, I see you back, Fred. You froze up, but you were talking about shorts.
Yeah. I mean, they all got these shorts and flip flops on. And I'm like, where are they going looking like that? But they don't know that that's not what you do in Colombia, because that's just what the Colombians said. Men don't do that. And they run over there looking like that, and I said, well, whatever. But it's just the gold chains, the loudness. They all join together in groups and talk. Last time I was there, me and a friend of mine was saying, look, it's 10 of them in a group talking to each other. Wasn't a woman in sight. I'm like, what are you talking about? That you got to have 10 guys and it's 500,000 women and y'all by yourselves talking. What are you doing?
Like 500,000 beautiful women. And again, I want to stress to guys, and men and women who are listening to me right now, it's not all about the smashing women. I go down to Colombia, and man, oh man, I meet some of the coolest women. They'll take you to cool, like when you take time, get to know folks, man, they'll take you places. Like, hey, come see this. What do you like to do? Like, you know what? I wouldn't mind going to a museum. Like Perry be like, man, why are you going to a museum? Like, because I like to, bro. But I get up early, go to a museum. They'll take me places and show me things, and I meet other folks, and it's great. And of course, at the end of the night, they want to hang out with me. So there you are. You show up to the spot, 2 or 3 beautiful women on your arm, just chilling, right? And these dudes are sitting over there in a group of 10. Y'all is sitting there talking to each other, pointing at me, pointing at Perry, talking about, ooh, look who they with. Like, how come you ain't got somebody with you, player?
Right. Yeah, I got a friend of mine. He's from Mississippi, and he goes all the time, but he likes going to restaurants. So he met a girl that I introduced him to. Another one of those stay with the jump off. So he's been with her 4 years. He must have hit every restaurant in Medellin. I was like, man, you spend a ton of restaurants. I mean, I'm at 5-star restaurants. He'll go to one on Thursday, one on Friday, 2 on Saturday. I said, man, what are you doing? You spend more in the restaurant than the flight. But that's his thing. He wants to go to every 5-star restaurant. I said, okay, well, I mean, that's her thing, not really his. He just going along for the ride, you know. But I said, you better get a control of that, man. She's killing you over here with these restaurants.
Hey man, that's on him.
But see,
And that's
I
him.
told her, I said, she's not the brightest person in the world. He said, why do you say that? I said, well, first of all, she ain't got no job. If you spend $400 on restaurants, she should have said, give me $100 and spend $300 at Kroger's and give me some food that can last a month, you know. And I said, she got 2 kids at home. I said, you got to teach her, because they live for today. They don't live for tomorrow. They don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. She trying to enjoy everything today. That same money he spent on a restaurant, she could have ate for 2 months. But she ain't figured that out.
And that's crazy. We got brother Mike in the house. What's good, fam? What's good? I see you out there, bro. Man, all is well over on this end, man. Appreciate all the support, man. One of my day ones in the building, man. I appreciate you, bro. I hope you make it down to Miami in October for CME. We're gonna be down there, man. We got plans. Me and the Knights are gonna be in there, bro. It's gonna be something. You don't want to miss it. So and we're sitting here with Perry Davis Jr., Esquire. This is my, one of my OGs, my man, 100 grand. When it comes to the game, when it comes to, not just the travel. We tell people all the time the importance of having sharp people in your circle. Perry has built quite the firm, like quite the business as an attorney, man. Did you want to talk about your journey a little bit as an attorney?
I've been pretty fortunate. I think luck plays a part in anything you do in life. When I went to Southern University Law School, came out of there, a lot of my friends now are judges, or friends are doing this or doing that. Then after I came back to Cincinnati, I started with the Attorney General's office. I was Assistant Attorney General for the state. And then I spent a couple years with them, and then I went on my own. Bruce Swedien, I think, was my first major client. Bruce was the #1 engineer in music. He did all Michael Jackson, J-Lo's. He did Barbra Streisand. He did the movie Color Purple. And I did all his legal work and all his contract. And of course, I was with Renee and Angela. Did jazz from Jodeci. I did a whole lot of entertainment. That's when I was hanging in L.A. and we was kind of off the chain back in them days.
Hush, now, hush.
Well, you remember Gangsta?
I sure do.
Gangsta was just pure beautiful. I remember taking her to meetings just to throw people off, because they couldn't concentrate with Gangsta sitting around,
So fine. Remember Hologram? Woo.
Oh, yeah. I took Hologram to Miami for the Soul Beach Festival. That's the last time I saw Hologram. Yeah.
Y'all, we are talking about beautiful women, y'all. Just so y'all know, this is when Perry was the king of Melrose. He was given that title by Renee and Angela. That's old school R&B artist. And man, Perry took me to Melrose, and I just couldn't believe what it was like. It was just insane. And there's just so many beautiful women in these stores. In every store we went into, Perry knew them. What happened to the Japanese Miwa? What was her name?
Miwa.
Was it Miwa? Yeah, something like that.
The brown skin, real pretty Japanese girl, Miwa.
Yes.
Or you talking about Ayume? It was Ayume and Miwa was the 2 Japanese. And then you had, of course, Shauna.
Yeah.
Shauna,
Baby Kelly.
We all. Yeah, Shauna. But Miwa actually moved back to L.A. and both of them are in L.A. now. They're doing well because Ayume had all the stores up there. She had 4 stores in L.A. So she wound up getting married, and she's doing well.
Yeah, because Miwa was kind of thick, and then she lost a bunch of weight. I didn't even recognize her.
No, that's not Miwa. Miwa was one real pretty skin. You talking about the other one that I brought to the festival here? It was real thick.
Yes.
Yeah. They called her Kim Kardashian. Yeah, she was bodied up. Yeah. I think she went back to Japan because it was a strange story about her. She got engaged, and then they broke it off. He committed suicide in her living room. And then she wound up dating his daddy, which I couldn't understand that. But that was a little strange story there. But then she wound up going back to Japan. Yeah, she's still around doing her thing. Yeah, we were doing our thing back then in LA.
Yeah, we were. And like I said, I was right there. That was the OG. But I already had game coming out of where we came from. I already had game, but it was taking it to the next level. Like, especially back then, if you're in LA, right, you had to know what you were doing in that dating game because the finesse was real in LA, going all the way back to the 90s. And, so these guys be crying about now, these women ain't finessing like they were finessing back then, in my opinion. What's your take on that?
Oh, they definitely are not. They definitely. I think but it's funny because the girls in these third world countries, allegedly third world countries, are more like the LA girls back then. And people don't understand that they'll finesse you to death for these girls. I was telling the story one time. I was in Costa Rica and I was a girl named Pam. It was a beautiful girl, but she was like gangsterish. Pam, girls were scared of because Pam would take you in the bathroom, beat your ass, and come out, smile in your face. Well, what happened to the girl that went in there with you? She'd be out about 30 minutes, Pam was an interesting girl, And one time I was on the elevator, and this white guy says, "You know Pam, right?" I said, "Yeah." And he was telling me, "Be careful of her, I'm scared of Pam." And I was like, "What you scared of Pam for?" The elevator opened up, and Pam walked on and, kissed me. Man, he almost pissed on himself. I was like, this
Like
one boy
Darth
really
Vader walked
scared
in
Pam.
there. It's
Yeah.
like Darth Vader walked into the elevator.
Oh my God. I was like, this boy is scared of Pam, But Pam was the type that she'll tell you, "I'll be right back." She go knock somebody off and come back to here. You need some money? I mean,
Sitting there right there, like,
yeah,
let me go
yeah.
get.
Pam she was about that money. And them girls are really. I had a guy goes over there now. He loves this girl. We hadn't been in a year. He thinks she's being, faithful to him, all that. She done called about 3 guys in the group. When y'all coming? When y'all coming? He's talking, "Man, that's my girl." No, no, I don't think that's your girl. I think she's a community property right
Yeah,
now.
that's everybody, girl, homie. And I tell them, man, and, things. We talk about this. We talking about some people in the like you said, the alleged third world countries. That's going on here in
Mhm.
America.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, big time.
Because I remember you had a friend that was back home, and you hit me up. "Hey man, I got somebody coming out to LA, man. Won't you do me a favor? Show her around. Show her a nice time. Make sure she don't get into a bad spot." I'm like, cool. I'm just trying to, I'm helping out my homie. Like, no problem. I'm gonna
Right.
come through, see what's up, bro. And you see, she one of your homeboys was like all the way in love with her, trying to, "Nah, baby, you need to be with me." Listen,
Right.
bro. You know what happened? You fed her to the wolf, bro. Well, actually, I think you fed me to the wolf.
Yeah. Yeah, I had another girl, a guy. He said, "Man, I'm gonna move to LA." Jeannie.
Yeah.
I said, "Jeannie, my boy moving to LA. Show him around." So I called out there about 10 minutes after he got to Jeannie's apartment. They getting out the shower. I said, "Man, I said, Jeannie turned you out, man. I told her to show you around, not around her apartment."
See, just like that.
Yeah. So
Just
yeah.
like that, man. So, but it's all part of the game. And like, I look at it as zeros and ones. It's binary to me.
Mhm.
And these dudes, these passport bros, and like even if you're a wealthy passport bro, like the football player or a basketball player,
Right.
y'all got to be thinking about the entire game. Like you said, these women done got a taste of some, oh, Americans got it like that.
Oh
That, like you
yeah.
said, that done changed the whole thing.
Oh, it's crazy. You remember Andrea? Everybody remember Andrea. Uh, well, after we broke up, which was about what 6 years ago or something like that, I looked on her Instagram. Somebody done bought her a spa. I mean, she done hooked up. Now, when it gets rough and she need to pay them bills, it's gonna be another guy that's got to pay them bills because the guy who bought the spa, he gonna be gone.
Right.
So, or she gonna get rid of him, because he ain't paying the bills and he ain't getting on the money back on his investment, so he broke, he gone. And that same way with Diana, she called me after about what 5 years, and she was saying, "Oh, she crying, and the guy bought me an apartment, and he bought me this and that. Now he don't even speak to me." I said, "Yeah, because he broke. You you killed him. Ain't no more money left. What he got to talk to you about? And
That's
but
insane, bro. And good, like, yeah, Andrea, bro. Hey, y'all know I got high standards. When I say that woman's a 10, bro, she's still that fine.
Yeah, she's a monster. I guess she's a monster. I give her credit. I give her credit. That's the one I live with down there. I give her credit.
Yes.
She was a monster. That's who did my first commercial. She did it all.
Ooh, boy, when I saw her, I was like, all right, man, I knew you were a G, but damn. I was just standing there like, damn, little shorty, bad. Like, is she even real? Like, I was, man.
And the funny thing was, she approached me. I didn't say nothing to her. She approached me. Said, "Let's go grab something to eat." I was like, "Shit, grab something to eat. I'll get you a restaurant."
Right, free. Which one of these restaurants you want? I'll buy you that
Oh,
one right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, she was off the chain. I give her credit. But it's
Man,
just it's funny down there because it's like they don't understand that they got to live day to day. So you gone on Friday, somebody else is gonna be there on Saturday. You know, that's just the nature of that game. Unless you paying all their bills, and they still gonna do it. And they don't
Right.
have a conscience. They, you know, I think what a lot of guys don't understand when they go to these places, them women don't have a conscience. So you quit playing, they gone.
They
You
gone.
stop, they gone. They gone to the next guy. You know,
Gone to your homeboy. They ain't even go. They ain't even gone that far.
I had a friend of mine, and you brought that up. It was a story. Uh, he went to Costa Rica one week, and I went the following week. So we finally hooked back up the third week, he's like, "Man, you see that beautiful girl right there?" I said, "Yeah, I introduced myself to her last week." You know, he said, "What? What?" He said, "Oh my God, she know that I'm cool with you, and she didn't tell you that her and I." I said, "She didn't say nothing about you." So he walks up to her, mad. I mean, he's fuming. You can see it coming out of his ears. You ain't got no business sleeping with no friend of mine. And you know, she looked at him, she said, "I'll fuck your daddy." I said, "Lord."
So, fellas, we told that story to say this, right? The game ain't easier when you leave America. If you don't know what you're doing, you are going to get wrecked, period, especially in Colombia. You gotta have game. And like I said, these dudes, they fall in love. We've all been there. I'm not saying that you got to be some made of stone or nothing. We've all been there. But don't go to Medellin or Cartagena or Cali or Bogota and think that you get off the plane and you gonna meet your soulmate, because she got 18 soulmates. Perry, tell me about the time the woman was sending you the medical documents, running that finesse.
That's funny. I was just thinking about her. Beautiful, beautiful girl. She still calls me. You know, she called me up one day. She was crying, tears was flowing down her face. And she said, "You know, my life is just over. You know, I'm dying. You know, could you help me get some medication?" "So what do you mean you dying?" "I just saw you last week, so I'm dying. The doctor said that, you know, I got cancer, and I got the results right here." So she's sending me the results, and I'm looking at them. And she's steady going on, you know, "Please help me, I'm dying." You know, she coughing, all that, you know. So I said, "The only problem with these results, they ain't in your name. It's somebody else's results." So instead of saying, "Oh, I got busted," she went on to the next conversation. "So how you feel?" I
How
feel
about
like,
them bangles? You're like, how about them
yeah, how about
bangles?
them bangles? Yeah.
Oh well, like, all right, I gave it
And
a
it's
shot.
funny
It's
because,
cool.
I mean, she is. I mean, they will lie to you. Like one time, I said, "What you do?" I said, "You go to the park." She said, "I don't go to the park. That's what them girls trying to sell themselves in the park. I don't go to the park." So behind her is I'm on my phone. I've got YouTube because I was watching YouTube. The park. She was on the video, so I turned the phone around and said, "You don't go to the park? Ain't that you?" Well, let me explain. Explain what? Nigga, you on YouTube selling yourself in the park. What are you talking about?
And then on to the next conversation.
Next conversation. "So when you coming?" Let's get back to this park and this dying in Kansas."
Right. Well, since you know where to meet me, you know I'm gonna be in the park when you come.
Yeah. I mean, they will lie like I've never seen people lie. It's amazing. I mean, Diana was spectacular at lying. I mean, beautiful girl. Diana was the most ridiculous liar I'd ever seen in my life. You know about the dress, right? And she said, "Could you bring me a dress? Because I got a function I got to go to with my mama." So I bring her, I bring you a little dress. Ain't no big deal. I bring a little dress. You know, we in an apartment. She said, "Let me run to my mama's house. I'll be right back." She come back crying. I said, "What are you crying about?" No reason, no reason." 2 months later, I see that dress on Bang Brothers. I said, "Whoa, I know that dress. I know that necklace. I know that night."
And see, you can take it in stride. People are like, what? You should be mad. Mad at what? It's the game.
It's the game. She can't. Then she's, "Are you gonna let 29 minutes destroy our relationship?" 29 minutes of that cum shot.
Right. 29 minutes and the match and the big finish and the big finish.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that. Yeah, it's all my homies done seen it. Like, I can't take you serious, baby. What you doing?
Oh yeah. And then she go out and got face surgery, trying to change the way she looks. You know, I said, "You can't change. People know who you are. You can't run from that." You know.
You can't run from it. And see, there's degrees to this, guys. Like, for the men and women who are watching this this platform, a lot of people like to watch me. A lot of women watch because we give the game. We're giving game. We're letting people know, women what to look for, men what to look for. So there are degrees to this. So if you go down to Colombia, you might in fact meet a woman who's not necessarily in the game. You might meet one who's managing to stay out the game, but she's still gonna run a little bit of a finesse, and it's gonna come in the form of, can you send me, like $5? She'll send you, like in Colombia, you do the, you'll do the conversion. She's asking you for $5, no problem. She's asking you for $10, $20, no problem. To them, that's a lot of money. To you, that's nothing.
Right.
But it'll get more. It'll get more because she'll be talking to people. Right. Or what does he do? Oh, he can afford to ask for 50. He'll give you 50.
And then even when you go to those countries, people that are not in the game are really in the game because you got to survive. I remember one time I was in a country talking to this beautiful lawyer. And when I'm talking legit business, look, I want to know how personal injury cases work here, how divorces work here, blah, blah, blah. So after about 10 minutes, she looked at me, she said, let me explain something to you. My biggest month is $800. We got an hour and a half to kill. You want to get busy? I was like, hello. But that's
okay.
Yeah, she was a lawyer. So, everybody in certain countries are trying to make money. And doctors don't make any money. The average doctor in Colombia makes less than the person who works at McDonald's in America. So you got to realize what we're talking about here, So you can be a doctor down there. I got a friend of mine, she's a nurse, and she works, 70-something hours a week. She said she makes $800 a month. I'm like, what are you doing? She got a kid. So what's she going to do with $800 a month?
So if they mess up their money, because they on their tippy toes, y'all, it's a very delicate balancing act. So if you're a female, right, and let's say that you're, above average, let's say you're, average is 5, let's say you're a 6 or a 7, and you down there and you mess your money up, and you got to pay the rent.
Oh, yeah.
And they go that American football player, or they go that, American whoever, or that British whoever, you're going to have to do what you got to do to take care of your family. Right. And that's a lot of that happens.
Well, not only that, but you got mothers who say, I had a friend, beautiful girl. She had a job at a factory, which her uncle owned the factory. So she had a decent job, wasn't making a lot of money, but, it kept her out of the street. So her mother goes to her brother who owns the factory and says, look, I need that job. She can go work in the street. So they fired her, hired the mother, and she went back to work in the street. That's where she is now, working in the street.
Forced into the game.
Right, forced into the game, But that's the nature of how it works down there sometimes. They think the beautiful girl has got to support the mother, the grandmother, the cousin, the sister, the brother. And, hey, you're the only one that can do it. And I hate to see what a girl who's not attractive is going to do. What's she going to do,
Right. Yeah. Man, so that's, when we talk about this stuff, man, and the thing is this, even though it's so, their rules are their rules, I don't understand how these passport bros can just go down there and screw it up. They're messing up the balance, man. What other countries would you say they're messing the balance up in? Is it everywhere they go or just certain countries right now?
Well, now, the Colombias, I think Colombia, because of the proximity, it's easy to get to Colombia. It's 3 hours from Miami.
And it's cheap.
It's cheap. To get to Brazil is 9 hours from Miami. To get somewhere in Thailand, you're looking at 16, 20-hour flights. So that's why they say, oh, Medellin or Cartagena, they love those too. And they've already ruined the Dominican, so they just moved on, They kill a country, they go to another country,
Man. And it really started in Mexico. You get caught slipping, you through. So everybody know all the Pookies, Ray, stay out of Mexico, man. The cartels might get you on accident.
Oh yeah. You get killed in Mexico. Yeah, they don't play with you in Mexico.
Nah, I stay out of Mexico. And then you got like you said, DR, you got Costa Rica, you got Panama. So they're slowly just moving around.
Right, slowly moving around. They like going to Brazil, but that's just a long flight. So that's 3 flights to Medellin. So that's why Brazil is relatively, pretty much calm as of right now.
Man, that's crazy. So we're saying watch your spending. Learn something about the place that you're going to visit, whatever country it is, whatever area. Stop being loud. Dress properly. What else will we tack on to there?
Learn a little Spanish might help too. I had You know this guy, so I'm not gonna mention his name. He was in a hotel one time, and he was coming to transfer to my hotel, so I'm coming there to pick him up. He's screaming at the lady, just going off. You out of your mind? This hotel ain't worth $3,000. How you gonna charge me $3,000? Blah 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 blah. He just going off. I mean, she was ready to call the police. So I walk up there. So what's wrong, man? She charged me $3,000. I said that's 3,000 pesos. That's $1. She wants an extra dollar. She said, you didn't pay her enough. Well, she ought to learn English. This MF don't know English. I said, why would she learn English? You in her country. Maybe you should learn Spanish. But he just couldn't understand that. 3,000, that's 3,000 pesos, fool. That's not $1. That's not 3,000 US. But he spent 15 minutes cussing the lady out, saying she was trying to rip him off, just because he didn't understand the conversion of $1 to pesos,
That's part of traveling, bro. And that's what I mean about some Americans. There should be like, you got to take a test to get out of America or something, bro. Because conversions, wherever you go, there's going to be conversions. We were in Japan. I mean, we were in Japan for my people's birthday. And I forget what hotel we were in. I think we were in the Hilton. And so we're ordering or whatever, and the bill came, and the bill was like high. The bill was like almost $1,000 US. You know what I mean? So, it was like this bill came out and everyone's like, we're looking at it. Everybody's trying to like, what did we order? Well, one of our friends did the conversion wrong. She ordered a bottle of wine, but she ordered a $500 bottle of wine. She did the convert. She was off on the conversion. She thought it was $50.
Right.
And, it's like, oh no. So, we all, whatever. It was a group of us. It was, whatever we paid, but she felt so bad, but that's part of it. And she was the one who was actually born in Japan, but she's raised in America, but born in Japan. Right. But it was like, look, man, it was what it was. But people, y'all need to understand that when you travel, you got a good point. My Spanish isn't great, but I speak enough Spanish that I can get through. If I had trouble, and then when I'm about to travel, I really brush up on my Spanish or my Korean or my Japanese. Like I speak more Korean than I speak Spanish. But I'll brush up on it heavy. Like I'm finna go over here and make sure I can at least scream for help police. I can at least say that, But America's like, it's so funny to me that dude is like, they should speak English. Why? We in Colombia.
Right. We're in Colombia. I mean, we got that arrogance, that American arrogance. You go over there thinking, America's this way. I had a guy one time. This guy, he's really, I don't think he's even bright in America, so he's really not bright over there. His phone got stolen. He didn't get stolen. He left his phone in the taxi. And iPhone over there, that's $1,000. So that's like leaving $1,000 in the taxi. You can kiss that phone goodbye.
That's gone.
So then he started calling the phone, talking to the taxi driver in English. Why do you keep picking up my phone? Bring me my phone. What kind of person are you? Just go. So then he calls me because I'm in America. Perry, you know the number to the embassy? Because I'm gonna report my phone to the embassy. I said, the American embassy? Yeah. I said, you think they care about your phone?
I didn't give him the number, huh? Here you go.
Yeah. While I'm on this fool, let me tell you another story that's funny about him. I was in a hotel. It was about 6:30 in the morning, and he never calls me at 6:30 in the morning, so I know it's something wrong. So Perry, you up? No, I just went to bed. What do you want? Well, I'm here with this girl, and she thinks I should pay her for sex. I said, you talking about Claudia? He said, yeah. I said, she's a prostitute. Well, I thought I was her boyfriend. I said, are you crazy? So I took her to dinner. I said, if you don't pay that girl, somebody can come blow your head off, fool. I mean, he was refusing to pay after she was spent all night with him. She said, whatever her charge is, I don't want to pay you. I said, boy, you done lost your mind, But he thought he had a girl, but that's the same guy that tells everybody back home, I got a girlfriend. No, you don't have a girlfriend, fool. But I mean, like this guy got so many funny stories. One time we were at a hotel, and he was telling this doctor who was down there, also a little young doctor who just got down there. He's showing him pictures of the same girl, and half nude pictures. This is my girl right here. This is my girl right here. So she comes over, and we're all sitting out in the lobby of the hotel. So he goes up to the front of the hotel, talks to someone about something. So the guy he was showing the pictures to slides over to him. Now I'm sitting right there looking at it, and he's trying to get her number. I said, "What you doing, man?" "Oh, I'm just going. She's gonna teach me Spanish." Yeah, okay. So he gets her number. The guy comes back. The next day, he's leaving to go back to America. So the guy calls me up. He said, "Yeah, your boy just left." And I hear a girl in the background. I said, "Who's that girl?" That's Claudia." I said, "He ain't even made it to the airport yet." I was like, man. So he still thinks. So he calls up and she answers the boy's cell phone. I guess he gave her the phone. "What are you doing with my friend?" "I'm calling my," he didn't even know this guy. I said, "Man, you are crazy. That ain't your girlfriend, bro. Me and her got to set some rules." I said, "Ain't no rules. What are you talking about?"
The rule is you pay. That's the
Right.
rule.
That's the rule. You paid your time up, move on.
See, this is what I mean. Like I tell folks all the time, like the passport bro thing, I don't have a problem with so long as they get some guidance, they'll be fine. These dudes, these bottom 80% guys who are trying to get these women, like they need to understand the rules. Last good man in Jersey, Brother Gene's in the building. What's good? What's good? He's like, "What's up, fam? Good to see you." Brother Gene likes to go to the Philippines, man. We're gonna come back to him in a hot second. Sister Rosalind's in the house. What's good, sis? Like, bring back social studies and foreign language class. Yes, ma'am. And I hope you are recovering, girl. I'm glad you were here. Good to see you. She's going through, just went through chemo, or is in the process of going through chemo now. So she's still here. Looks like everything is going good. Sis, I'm gonna hit you up on IG just to check on you. I saw the message you sent. I just haven't had time to get to you. I'm about to hit you as soon as we're done here. But Brother Gene, he and I did a whole show about needing game. I was like, "Hey, man, you gotta have game." And Gene was like, "You don't need game if you go to the Philippines. You don't need game because the culture over there is such a way that." And we did a 2-hour show, man, going back and forth. We both agreed that because Gene didn't like the term game. I'm like, game, understanding, knowledge. He's like, "Okay, yeah," because I'm like, "Bro, you telling me these women in the Philippines ain't running people's pockets?" "Well, yeah, they are, but they do it a different way." "Okay, fine. It's not as bad as they do in Colombia." "Okay, I'll give you that. But you still need the game." What's your take on that, Perry?
Well, you need the game no matter where you are. And because if you don't understand the rules, you can't play the game right. So no matter what country you're in, no matter what island you are, you got to know the rules to the game. They're going to do, they're just as poor, they probably poorer in the Philippines, actually, than Colombia. So they all got rules. They all got rules to the game. They all got wants. But, they do the same thing in Cincinnati. They do the same thing in Miami. I had a friend of mine who lives in LA. I was talking to him today. He said, "Man, I had to pay my girl's rent this month. I had to pay her car note. I had to get her hair done." So I was just adding up things. I said, "Man, how much did you spend?" He said, "I spent about $4,000. I said, "It ain't your wife?" He said, "No." I said, "You spent $4,000? He said, "Yeah, but it ain't like that every month. But a few months." I said, "You done lost your mind." But that's but that's how it goes.
So yeah, because think about on that right there, $4,000. That's not your wife. That's like one of your women. It's the same thing in Colombia. As soon as you leave, who else is going to benefit for that $4,000 that he just paid? Who else in her apartment? Why was she getting her hair done? For who? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to know the game no matter where you are.
Man, that's crazy.
But that's what happens. People don't. But those same people who get taken in America are getting taken down there, getting taken up top, like the guy who put the girl in the suitcase we talked about before.
Yeah, y'all. Just to recap, there was a dude from Texas who was going through a divorce. He was dating some woman that he never met in person in Colombia. Had her meet him in Mexico, was it?
Yeah, Mexico.
He completely in love with this woman. He goes down to Colombia. Eventually, done hired private investigators and everything else. Long story boring. They found this woman in a suitcase in a trash can. They caught the guy. I wonder what happened to him. I wonder if he's still breathing. Probably not.
Well, I think he still is, but I don't know how long he's gonna be breathing. But he's probably still breathing. He hasn't even went to trial yet. They offered him 50 years, but he said, "I didn't kill her." Although everybody saw it on video. They saw you take the body. They saw you dump it in the garbage can. I said, "I still got the pictures in my phone." I said, "I can convict you." Come on,
right,
man.
Say from here, like anybody's court.
On Zoom, I can get you on Zoom.
It's not funny, guys. This beautiful young woman lost her life. And she was on a come up.
She's a DJ. And but she had, I know a lot of Colombians. I probably know more Colombians than Americans now. But she, in my opinion, thought she could talk her way out of that situation. Because before he came, 6 days, she was with another guy.
Yep.
She left that guy to go to this guy's house to act like they were going to move an apartment together. He thought she was going to her mother's house. So, then he was paying her, he gave her $1,700 to go to Aruba for a show she was doing because she was a DJ. She was going to work, getting paid allegedly for a show. So why you need $1,700? So she went to Aruba with that same guy she was just with for 6 days, another girl. They just parted on his money. But he didn't realize that Colombians got game out of this world. He just was getting game and couldn't take it. So he choked her to death, killed her, stuffed her in a suitcase.
And couldn't get her head in the suitcase, y'all. So her head was sticking out. He wrapped that up with a bag and some towels and stuff, put it in the trunk. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How do we know this? This is all on film. So I'm not even in the law business. I'm pretty sure I could prosecute that case. It's not hard.
Yeah, he was on film every step of the way, which is incredible,
They even had his getaway plan. They called his bud like, no problem. This man's stupid. They figured they had him waiting on him when he landed, wherever he was trying to go.
Panama, he got caught in Panama. Then he bought 2 different plane tickets, one to Brazil, one to Madagascar somewhere, and he just was an idiot, me and Bridget, I don't know if you remember Bridget, we went to law school together at Southern. She's in Louisiana.
She had Excalibur.
Yeah, Bridget with the Excalibur.
Uh-oh.
Somebody
lost.
No, somebody was trying to call in. I had to send it to voicemail.
Okay.
Bridget was talking. We came to the conclusion that, not that we would ever, say what a person did or shouldn't have done, but if he'd have taken that car and parked in long-term parking, he'd have got away. It's just that simple. Because they would, by the time they'd have looked in the car in long-term parking, he'd have been in another country without extradition. Right. But he just driving around the city. He wasn't thinking at all. Or just put the body in the bathtub, run some water, keep it in there.
Leave it where it was.
Yeah, leave it where it was. Go on to the airport, get on your plane.
I mean, and that's the thing. We're not trying to tell people how to get away with such things. We're not. But that guy got so upset when he discovered what she was doing. He lost it. He lost it. And one thing we didn't tell y'all about this relationship, this guy was doing all this stuff, paying all his money, flying her all over the place. They weren't even being intimate.
No, they wouldn't be. I think he had sex after she was killed.
Yeah,
they found semen in her. Yeah, which was crazy. But
that's what crazy people do, y'all. So I think he just was upset and then he lost it. They say that he just went crazy. That blind rage, going through his divorce in Texas and getting beat up there. Then he found his refuge in this woman again. If you talk to anybody, they told him, like, be careful, bro. Like, that's not your girl. That's everybody's girl.
That's everybody's girl.
And
but he knew that. The private detective told us she had somebody else. He came there to kill her. Because they said one of the things he packed was duct tape. Now, I've been in a lot of countries. I don't think I've ever packed duct tape.
Yeah, you got a point there. Yeah, you got a point there. So, and Perry and I did a whole show on it, guys. If you want to check it out, it's on I Really Want to Know. Just kind of go through the archives, and it's a thumbnail with me and Perry, and we talked about, I think we did 2 shows. I felt so bad about this young woman, and I felt so bad for her family. But again, this is what you got to chalk it up to the game. I know it sounds cold, but that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Look at Gene, last good man in Jersey. Like, you don't need game, LOL. Yeah, he giving me a hard time. He just over here wilding. You need game, bro. And you need game, bro. So and we're telling stories. I told this story maybe a month ago. I was in Hooters waiting on you. I was in Hooters. I forget where you were. You were in country. You were somewhere, and I was at Hooters. And I'm sitting there with this young brother from Chicago. Same thing. My girl this, my girl that. I got a good girl. He showed me a picture of her, right? And I looked. And in my mind, I'm thinking, she looks familiar. And he's looking at me like, why are you looking like that? I'm like, she looks familiar. No, you ain't never seen her, man. She a good girl, blah, blah, blah. So while he's saying all this, I grab my phone, you know what I mean? Just do some scanning. I'm like, oh, here she is right here. You know what I mean? So, you know where he met her? Colombian Cupid.
Oh Lord, those are the worst places to meet anybody in Colombia because they all got game on them. They just trying to scam you there.
He got
You know,
scammed. He got scammed, bro.
now that you said that story, reminds me of I had a friend of mine in Costa Rica. He met this white guy down there in Costa Rica, and they were going to lunch, and the white guy was bragging, "Man, I got these beautiful women down here, blah 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 blah." So he showed him the one girl. He said, "Oh yeah."
And y'all know Perry's a very busy man as an attorney running his own firm. He gonna get a lot of calls. Every time it goes black, he got a call. He just had to silence it.
Yeah. And so the guy was telling him, showing him these beautiful girls. He said, "Man, I'm dating this girl here. I'm dating this girl." So the first girl, he says, "Oh yeah, she's dating Perry." Then he showed him another girl. He said, "Oh yeah, Perry dating that one too." I said, "Man, why you tell that white boy that? Let him do thinking what he's going to think, you know."
Don't mess up them girls' money. They doing what they doing. Let them run their
They doing
game.
what they doing, you know. But yeah,
but I tell these
it's
two.
fun.
I
You
mean,
gotta understand the game. They don't, let people.
oh, go ahead, Perry.
No, you go ahead. I faded on you.
Yeah, because it was. Let me ask you this, and then we'll go over. We'll recap what not to do, and then we'll give some advice for anybody who's thinking about traveling, anybody who's thinking about being a passport bro. We'll give y'all a little bit of advice on Panama and correction on Colombia in particular. So, is it possible, in your opinion, for a Western man to go down to Colombia and actually find himself a good woman or wife?
I think it's possible anywhere. I don't want to say anything you can't find. But if you go into a city like Medellin or Cartagena, your odds are lower than a Pereira or one of the smaller cities. I remember one time I took a bus ride outside of Panama. I was going through the little small city where small area, the boroughs where Roberto Duran grew up, and just going through the hood of Panama. And there was a girl selling strawberries on the side of the road. One of the most prettiest, purest girls I've ever seen in my life. I was trying to tell a bus driver, "Could you just stop?" He was looking at me like, "No, we're not stopping."
It's like, let me
I said,
out.
"What do you mean you're not stopping?" I'm looking at the back window like, "No." So I think in the small cities, it was not been touched by Medellin or touched by Cartagena, or one of the where it's just hustle and bustle or trying to make money. Yeah, you probably could find somebody in those cities. But in Medellin, it's difficult. It really is difficult. And I've been there a long time. It's difficult in Medellin because everybody is hustle. It's a hustle city. It's like the LA or New York of Colombia, on steroids.
Yeah.
And they got to eat. They got to survive. And the sex trade in those cities is prevalent. So is she gonna say she ain't in the game? Where you get that car? But you got a car? Come on, baby. You know what I'm saying?
So let me follow that question up with this. If you had a choice, if you're gonna marry someone, would you choose someone from like the bigger cities in Colombia, or would you choose an American to marry? If you had to choose one.
That's a good question because at this stage of my life, I wouldn't choose either one of them.
Right, we're not talking about us. We're not talking about rewind the clock 30 years.
Okay.
And we out there, we were looking for wives back then.
Yeah, back then we were looking. If I knew then what I know now, I would have probably chose somebody from a smaller city in Colombia instead of a bigger city in Colombia. But then 30 years ago, Colombia wasn't what it is now. So that's a whole different ballgame. Panama is a little better, not much, because a lot of people don't realize that Colombians used to own Panama. So that was part of Panama. Panama was part of Colombia, and then they broke away with the help of America is trying to tell them to get away from them. But and so a lot of those people are still Colombians. They just, because they were Colombians 40 years ago, you can't become a Panama person because now they still Colombians. So they got sort of the same mentality. But a little small city in Colombia where just as beautiful, just as because I tell people all the time, Colombians are the prettiest women in the world. I don't think there's any question. Every place you and I went, they were always the prettiest women in those cities, those countries. I got friends now in Dubai. They're turning out Dubai. I said, do your thing over there, baby. I see you. But that attitude, you got to get rid of that big city Medellin, Cartagena attitude. The only place you're going to probably find that is Don Mateus or Pereira, one of those smaller cities. But once they get to Medellin and Cartagena, it's, all bets are off.
All bets are off. And the reason I'm asking that is because, especially on the manosphere side in the red pill world, and you are an attorney, you've handled family law. I wanted to delve into that a little bit. The dangers, because they're saying that, American men don't want to get married. People are doing this and that, 50% of marriages fail, is at 48 point some percent or whatever it is, but 50% of marriages fail. And of the other 50%, they're not happy marriages. Like, it's like,
Right.
if you get married in America, they say you got a 63% chance, 63% chance of failure on some level. It may not, 50% in divorce, and then, the rest of that is just being unhappy. Or you think people in, like, Colombia, Thailand, Panama, these, Venezuela, you think it's the same, they're facing the same thing? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, and they're probably not, because their value system is a little different than ours. They'll stand in there. They don't look at sex the same way. Like here, you cheat on somebody, you're out of there. I'm out of there. There, it's like, okay, whatever, So it's a whole different kind of dynamics. I did 2 divorces, 2 or 3 this week that I finished up on.
This week?
Yeah, this week. Yeah. So, and it's been like that since the pandemic, and I got one that I'm working on now, which I think is what I call the classic case, because before, women in America always got the money, they got the pension, they got the retirement from the man, the house. Well, in this particular case, he got the house. She had $1 million in her pension. He getting $500,000 and the house. So it's the dynamics have changed now. So women are not so quick who make money to run off and get married, because they may have to get it up. And the law is, those who, if you got a pension, he gets half. If he doesn't have a pension, you get nothing. So his pension was little, her pension was $1 million. So there you go.
Wow. Now, down here in Florida, the governor enacted a law that ended forever alimony. I don't know what the Ohio law is, but you think that's an indication that America is starting to change in the family law world?
I think it's not. I don't think it's necessarily changing. I think states by state, look at it different. Here, alimony, basically, you need a long-term marriage, and you need a huge discrepancy of income. So if you're making $30,000 more, $40,000 more than her, you've been married 10 years, you're probably looking at 3 to 4 years spouse support, and maybe $15,000 to $20,000 a year payments. So it just depends on what you're making and what state you're in. California is a whole different animal, and Florida is a whole different animal. But Ohio, Chicago, the Midwest, they're pretty much basic. If you make the money and she don't, you got to pay her. She makes the money and you don't. I got my cousin. I did his divorce. He getting a couple thousand a month, in spousal support. So
damn, is there a cap on that, or is that forever?
No, it's a cap. The max you're gonna. Well, the max is supposed to be 5 years. I had a case. Well, I didn't do the divorce. I got involved after the divorce was done, when the husband was upset about what happened in his divorce and wanted me to kind of get him out of some things. Well, he got hit with a 10-year spousal support, because he was hiding a couple $1 million, and they busted him hiding that money. So the magistrate got mad and hit him with 10-year spousal support unless he sold the property and gave her the property, which he eventually gave her the property. So
wow, but it sounds like Ohio is more. I guess it's more thought. It makes more sense, because it's just not. It's okay. You didn't make the money; they made the money. Y'all separating, so we need to give you some time to get on your feet. Who does that? Like, who determines these laws? And Perry, be right back out. There you go.
I'm here. I don't know why they keep calling. It's the same person keeps calling.
They probably seeing you on. They probably watching me like, I see you on TV. Like, man, it's the computer, man. It ain't TV. It's the computer. Leave me alone. But so who determines these laws? Is it done by the state legislature, or is it who does this?
The legislature, they determine it. Mm-hmm.
All right, I was just curious, man. Because my take on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, my take on America and marriage is just, and this is the manosphere take. I agree with him. It isn't advantageous to men, is what the manosphere say. I say it's not advantageous to the person who makes money. I tell people all the time, like these dudes, I'm like, look, if you're a brokey, you're living in your mama's house, you ain't got no money, you ain't got no job, you ain't got no education. Some woman comes along and wants to marry you, get married. You ain't got nothing to lose, especially if she got money.
Right.
Get married.
Nothing to lose. That's right. I think it's like you said, it's the person who makes the money is the person who has something to lose. I mean, that's just how it works, you know. That, like this young lady, I'm doing hers now. She made, $250,000 a year basically, and he made 100, but that's $150,000 difference. So that leads to spousal support. That's a huge discrepancy in income, you know. So that's just how it works. If you make money, you got more to lose, you know.
So that's one of the narratives I kind of wanted to correct for a lot of brothers out there, these men out there. I said, listen, guys, the court system isn't gender-based or sexist in any way. They're not out to get men. Men were getting wrecked because historically men had the money. Now women are making the money. And you see it happen with Kelly Clarkson, Mary J. Blige, J-Lo. And people are like, well, y'all always talking about stars because y'all know them. Y'all don't know the other people I know, like the air traffic controllers and the cops that I know that been getting hit with spousal support that are female and paying out the deadbeat dudes. So I can't say their names because you don't know them.
Right. That's the problem. But it's those who make the money, have the risk. That's how it works.
And how secure or how valuable are prenups or even postnups?
They're pretty valuable if it's done right and if it's fair. And if the person can't speak English and you give them a prenup, well, that's a whole different ballgame. But if it's done right and they have an attorney, they generally hold up pretty well.
All right. And my last question, because I got you here, we're talking about these passport bros. So here's the scenario, Perry. A passport bro goes to Medellin and he marries Claudia, right? She done got one. He gets married, brings her back to the States. What is his liability? What are his odds of success? And imagine he got married in Colombia.
Well, it doesn't really matter where you get married because once you're married, you're married. If it's accepted in Colombia as a marriage, and America will accept it also. Okay. So he's got a wife in America. The odds of him making it are probably less than if he had an American woman, because one, when you come from, what I tell people all the time, Andrea was here a lot. She used to come all the time. But the problem is when you take somebody from their environment and you bring them to ours, you don't really understand what they've been going through. Colombia and Medellin is a party city. I'm not talking about LA kind of party. I'm not talking about Miami kind of party. I'm talking about that on the 10th degree above that. They party every day of every month of every year of their lives. It's a party city, so
you ain't lying.
I mean, that's what they do, because that's where the money is. That's where Parque Villegas is. It's at the clubs. It's every day. It's a party. So when you come to America and you say, well, I got to go to work. And they're like, work? Where's the party tonight? Ain't no party on Monday. Ain't no party on Tuesday. Ain't no party on Wednesday. I'm working,
Yeah, like we in Mason.
We in Westchester trying to make money, but they don't understand that, because they get bored because they've been partying all their lives. So you take a woman who's been hanging out, partying for all of her life, and you say, come here and be a housewife, you got a problem on your hands. You got to have a plan. And then she gets here, she doesn't know anybody. So her whole world depends on you making her happy. And then you go off to work, well, you got a problem. It's going to be a problem. So you got to understand what they've been going through, what they've been living, I mean, them women over there, they get bored quickly. I have a friend now over there, and she's got a guy, he's helping her. And, she's a decent girl. I mean, I give her a little credit for that. She's young, so she's a little more, ain't really been out there as bad. But she's been out there, it's not as bad. But, he says, man, she complaining because she says she bored. I said, yeah, she bored. She's been going out every day. I said, guys come there, they fly her to Cartagena, they fly her to the beach, they take her here, they take her there. Now you paying for everything, but she's sitting at home, so she's bored shitless, but that's what happens. And that's what it would be in America. She would be bored. And that leads to, you got a bored woman with very little morals. You got a problem on your hands.
So the morals are definitely an issue, because to us, they're very little morals, but I guess theirs just normal.
It's normal, right? It's normal.
Hmm.
I mean, to them, the first thing that I thought was interesting, a girl told me to them, sex was like an American handshake. I said, what? She said, yeah, sex is like a handshake. You give people high fives. I
We
said,
give them some
okay.
booty.
Yeah.
Give 'em
I
some
was
booty.
like, oh, is that right? I said, well, can a brother get a shake?
You say, hey, what's up? Like, we're like, hold on, let me get ready.
Yeah, so it's a different ball game, Like Andrea told me, I was with Andrea for 2 years. We lived together over there. She had a visa. When I would leave to come back to America, she would fly back to America. She was here taking Instagrams in my house, up on my decks, all that silliness. When we broke up, she called me. I hadn't talked to Andrea in 4 years. So she called me about 2 years ago. She says, look, I'm gonna offer you a deal. I said, what kind of deal you gonna offer me? I ain't talked to you in 4 years. What kind of deal is this? She said, well, I'm in a situation where I need help. So you give me some help, I give you some sex. I said, I don't need sex from you. She said, well, if you don't give me no money, what good are you? Click. I ain't heard from her since. I said, Lord.
Handshake.
I said, Lord. And hello to you too after 4 years.
Damn. Wow. And again, you're just like, chalk it up to the game.
Chalk it up. Hey, she said, hey, if you don't give me no money, what good are you to me? Click.
Click.
Okay. Call somebody else. She hit another speed dial,
Yeah, I'm sure she had a list and she's working her way through it. So
she on the spot now. Somebody gave her some money, so
damn, yeah, that's what. Oh, that's right. She had to make payroll. She
Yeah,
was like,
payroll.
nigga had to make payroll. Let me call pay.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my residual on them commercials, bro. Where my money at on them commercials?
Yeah,
I mean, be quiet. I don't want to give her no ideas.
That's just how they are, man. They're different mentality. It's just a big difference.
Man, so back to my scenario. Guy goes to Colombia, marries a woman, brings her back to Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
They're married for 7 years, and then she decides she wants to leave.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen to dude?
Well, she's going to get spousal support. She's going to get half of whatever his pension went in for those 7 years. And if they got kids, she's going to get child support. I mean, but at that time, once you've been here, she's a citizen by now. So she's going to get the same thing that an American woman would get. If she doesn't have a job, she's going to get that. She's going to get that spousal support for 2 or 3 years. Then they'll throw in some child support if they got kids, and he's gonna be pissed off. But that's what's gonna happen.
Man, would it be any different if he did the same, like he married the same woman but stayed in Colombia? Do you know anything about their laws?
Yeah, it'd be a lot different. I don't know, but very few people pay child support in Colombia.
Wow. So only Americans.
Yeah, only American. Only American. Very few people pay child support. Colombia, they don't even stick around to you pregnant? They gone. See you, I was in Costa Rica one time, and it's not funny, but it is funny. The girl was talking to me, and she just bust out crying. I said, "What are you crying for?" She was like, "I'm supposed to be married today." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "I had my marriage planned. I had this church. I had the dress." She said, "He's there right now." I said, "He's at your church right now in Colombia?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, he's marrying my neighbor." I said, "Lord." She paid for the church. He married the neighbor.
Wow.
I mean, they some ruthless people now. I give them credit for that. They ain't nothing nice about them when they cut in your throat.
They say all's fair in love and war, and I guess they ain't playing down there.
No, they're not playing down there at all.
Wow, man. That's what's up, man. Because so many people get caught up in the American marriage game and child support and spousal support and losing their stuff. And one of the things I do want to clarify with these young brothers out here and the older ones, I'm like, look, if you ain't got nothing, you ain't got nothing to worry about. If you do have something, yeah, protect yourself. If you have assets, protect your assets. If you have a future, protect your future. Be careful what you're doing. Ladies and men, y'all need to be careful.
One thing I will say on that, I've got a couple of friends of mine, and I talk to them all the time because they ask me legal questions. Everybody wants free legal advice. You know how that works. Yeah. But I tell them, I said, look, yeah, you probably would have to give away some of your money to your American wife. His wife is American. American Black. He's Black. I said, you're going to probably have to give away some pension. I said, but you're miserable right now. I said, so you got to choose sometimes. Might give away some pension, but you're going to get happy. So, at this stage of our lives, I'm choosing, I'm going to be happy. But I'm happy. I'm going to do whatever I want because I ain't got nobody to answer to but myself, But I tell him, I said, you're counting on her not being here. I said, you might die before her. Then she's going to get all your pension and you ain't going to never be happy. Right. So you got to make some choices in your life once you get to a certain stage. Because I'm not going to be with anybody that I'm not happy with. I'm not going to ever be scared to go to my own house. And I know a lot of guys who are unhappy and don't go home until the sun go down, until it's time to go to bed,
They stay away from their home.
They stay away from their home, right. So you got to make choices. I got tons of friends like that. I'm not going to have a house, pay for a house, scared to go home, unhappy at home, and then worry about, I might have to give a half. Take half. Get out of my house. Get out of my life, And that goes for men or women. I don't understand that theory, but I had a client tell me one time, I think I can outlive him. She didn't. So, that's how it goes.
And you left here mad when you could have just dealt with that and then moved on. Barry, that's man. And I think you one of the guys, because pretty much all the OGs in Cincinnati where we're from say this, man. And I say this all the time on this platform. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Right.
Learn the game and play to win, because that's what everybody else is doing. You get caught up and they get mad. I can't. You tell me so many stories. You got clients sitting there mad and all this, and it's like you just said, "Hey, man, you did it. Why are you mad?"
Right, you mad. And you'd be surprised at the excuses people make. I did a divorce for a guy to Wednesday. He all the way to the end, he was scared to get divorced. I don't know, man. Maybe when she said she went to Vegas, maybe she just went there to rest.
Okay. On somebody else's joystick.
Yeah. 3 weeks before you get a divorce, she in Vegas for a week, and then she comes back to the house. Okay, I understand. By herself, Yeah, she went there. Most people fly to Vegas just to be alone. Okay, whatever. But people make excuses for stuff that don't even make any sense. I don't think she really loved him. Well, she may not have loved him, but whatever.
See, there's a whole lot of loving going on. Whether and here you are sitting here all depressed and all messed up.
Right. You got to be. And if you find happiness in Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Dominican, Philippines, that's what all this life is about. Just finding somebody and be happy, And if you're happy for a year, that's a year you wouldn't have been happy. So you got to, chalk it up and keep it moving.
Keep it moving, man. That's what's up. So I guess we'll close with this, bro. Where should the Passport Bros go? Because I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm making up numbers here, but I estimate 90% of the Passport Bros are looking for a wife. They come out here talking all this stuff and they filming and they like, we lit and we players, but they really want a wife. Why do I say that? If y'all watch this podcast today, me and Perry been telling you how these dudes get off the plane and fall in love with the first piece that they trip over.
Yep, the first one.
So where should they go? Well,
I know where they shouldn't go.
Okay.
if they looking for that, they might want to stay out of Medellin and Cartagena. If you're looking for that. And you got to understand who you are. See, part of their problem, I think, is they don't really know who they are. Because a lot of times people get in the camera, people get on shows, they put it on the front. But you got to know yourself, and I don't think they really, taking that into consideration. Because if you ain't got no game in America, you ain't got no game in Colombia. If you ain't got no game in LA, you ain't got no game in Miami. You know what I'm saying? That's just really as simple as it is. If you can't flow in LA, well, you can't flow in Medellin. And so you got to go somewhere where you really fit in, and what you're looking for. I think you got to understand what you want and where to go to find that. Because everybody's going to Medellin. Well, they ain't going to Medellin for looking for no wife. Ain't nobody in Medellin coming out with no wives.
Facts.
People in Medellin ain't looking for no wives. It's too easy to do other things in Medellin. It's hard to have an argument if you live in Medellin with a girl. Well, I'll be right back. Give me an hour. We'll be straight.
You can't even get through the argument. You be doing one of these. Like, she yelling, you just looking over here. You know what I mean? Like,
So they got to understand that. If you look, and then what kind of person you want. You got to understand what you're looking for, what you really want. Because Medellin is beautiful women, but they ain't they cold. They one of the most coldest group of people I know. I have
And you're saying men and women.
men and women, men and women. I have a friend of mine that I did a criminal case for, and he told me before I went, he said, "Man, I hate Colombians." He said, I understand why you hate Colombians, so I couldn't say much to him. That's something else, but that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, we can't talk about that yet.
But I mean, and I said, I know how they are. I said, trust me, I've been there long enough. I know how they are. I know the signs. I know what to look for. I said, but even sometimes I'm surprised. I was like, oh, okay, well, you got that one off. Just keep it moving. But you got to know what you're looking for. You got to know yourself, and you got to don't go because everybody else is going there. Colombia ain't the place to go find a wife. Not Medellin. Now, if you want a little small cities where she on a farm and mama she ain't been out. She been hanging out with the mama and looking after the pigs. Okay, well that's cool, But
and even then, if she got a phone, if she got access to Instagram,
oh yeah, it's a whole different ball game. And Instagram changed everything, But it's a whole different ball game down there. But they'll learn. They'll move on to another country soon enough.
Soon enough, they get tired now. So people who are watching, like what Perry was saying, you don't know what you get. People don't know who they are. Y'all know I talk about that all the time. I talk about the art of warfare, Sun Tzu. Know yourself, know your enemy. And I'm not saying that the opposite sex is the enemy, but you need to know yourself in order to move and accomplish your mission. You must know your mission. Right. Just going to Colombia because everybody else is going to Colombia, you have no mission. You're aimless. And if you out there by yourself with no support and you aimless, you're gonna get chopped up. That's just military, right? So listen to what Perry is telling y'all. For you, the passport bros, I ain't got a problem with y'all, but y'all got to get gamed up. You got to gear up. You got to get ready. I don't care if you're going to Colombia. I don't care if you're going to Brazil, Thailand. I don't care if you're going to the Golden Triangle, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. If you don't know what you're getting yourself into, how can you possibly be successful? If you don't know your mission, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we got brother JT's in the building, man. My bad. I saw it, but I didn't get to put it up there. Salute to you, brother JT. He's up in Detroit, man. We're going to talk about football when we wrap this up, man. We about to wrap this up too. Brother Michael's in there. Brother Lou, what's good, man? A beta in Chicago is a beta in Mississippi is a beta in Thailand. Facts, bro. Facts. And betas are those dudes that ain't got no game. If you don't know what you're doing, if you a beta, you know what I mean? You're a subpar dude here. You are a subpar dude wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. So but like I said, a lot of these guys are looking to get married. Stay out of Colombia, stay out of Eastern Europe. You know what I mean?
Right.
People say the Philippines. I don't know. I haven't been.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's it, man. In close, anything else? Anything you want to close with, bro?
No, I mean, I think Colombia is a beautiful place, but you got to understand what you're getting into, just like anywhere else. Learn the language. Learn to speak a little Spanish, and be careful, just like anywhere else.
Just like anywhere else. And like Brother Perry said, man, number one, watch your spending when you go to Colombia, right? Learn something about the place. Stop being loud. Dress appropriately.
Right.
And learn some Spanish. If you do those 4 things, at least you'll have a good foundation and maybe you'll wake up with your kidneys. You know what I mean? Because you go some of these places, bro.
I wouldn't worry about the kidneys, the wallet.
Wallet definitely gone. Wallet definitely gone. I've gotten lucky.
Like, let me tell you the last story here. I had a guy, Louisiana, met a first girl I introduced him to a jump off. So he's down in there, he's flossing, he's making decent money in his little company. He buying $500 Louis Vuitton belts, buying shoes, in the mall, just spending like crazy. She's standing right there. So she says, would you buy my child this $25 toy? He said, I don't buy kids nothing. It ain't my kid. So he kept on, with the date. They go to date. Next day, he sleep. He calls me up when he wakes up. She clipped me, man. I can't believe she stole money out of my wallet. I said, he tells me what happened. I said, oh, I can. I said, you spent all that money, showed all the money you had, refused to buy her child something, and you went to sleep? So you got clipped, bro. That's what happened. What do you think she was going to do? So she took her $500 and it was gone, So
now all he had to do was give her $25 and some respect.
$25 and some respect. But he, and don't look and put your money in the safe. Put your wallet in the safe.
That's why the safe is there.
Common sense. A little common sense goes a long way sometimes.
A very long way. And like, I tell these guys too, I'm like, bro, if you're gonna go down there, at least work on your game. You talking to a pro. I'm like, yo, if you're gonna go ahead and indulge in that, and I ain't got no problem with people who do that, man, do you? But if you indulge in that, challenge yourself. See if you can get something free. Because if you can talk that pro into doing something free for you, then you got some game. You'll be able to go out here and talk some women into hollering at you, right? That's my take on it.
Yep.
So there you have it, guys. Perry, man, thanks so much for coming on here, bro. Trying to kick some knowledge to these youngins, man. I know we had that video, but I figured he was gonna say the same thing we were saying, so there's no need to even show the video. That's why I didn't bring it up. The video I wanted to show, I think he took it down. The same brother that I showed you with the sunglasses on, he had a video about a guy. Well, his wife is from the DR. So he goes to the DR. His wife is waiting for him in the airport. He's walking up on his wife with his phone and he's filming his wife coming up because he's going, hey, baby, I'm here. She's going to turn around. Before he can get to her, the police jumped on him and handcuffed him. His wife turns around and, she's Dominican. She's speaking Spanish and like his Spanish wasn't good enough. And she's like, what's going on? That's my husband. And, no, he's taking your picture without permission. No, that's my husband. I'm here to get him. And, they let him go. They thought he was a guy that they're looking for on YouTube who's going up to these women and filming them.
Right.
Without their knowledge. I guess there's some glasses or something. He got some sort of rig, but he's filming and posting it on Instagram. And there was a woman who was in the game doing her little hustle, but her family and her friends didn't know. But he posted the video and they saw the video.
Right.
And then they tracked, he did it to, I don't know, half a dozen women or so, something like that, maybe more, maybe a dozen women. And the guy that they actually grabbed, the dude I was showing you, he actually reached out to the dude on Instagram and said, hey, man, they looking for you down there, bro. They know you coming. You go down there, they gonna lock you up. So I guess dude didn't go. But it goes to what you said.
Yep. You gotta know the rules and know the laws, know the game.
Know the game. Prostitution is not illegal, but filming somebody may be. Y'all better know what y'all doing. For the gram. And y'all ain't even smashing. Y'all doing all that stuff trying to look cool. Y'all ain't even doing that because y'all broke. Can't even, Can't even afford to take them out. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, Perry, man. Thank you so much for coming through, man.
Anytime.
Yeah, and every time you want to come up, man, you just let me know. It's on, bro. You tell me I want to get on, man. I turn it on right then. Like, come on, what you want to talk about? So I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. Thanks for rocking out with me, man. That's my brother Perry Davis Jr. right there, Esquire, in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, man. An expert attorney with tons and tons of experience. If y'all need some legal advice, you know what I mean? Perry ain't cheap, man, but he's worth every dime. If y'all got a problem in Ohio, holler at my man Perry. Hit me up. I'll put you in touch with him. If y'all want to take a trip somewhere, hit me up. I'll put him in touch with you and put them in touch with you or whatever. And you look, he'll be able to give you some insight on most countries on the planet. So thanks again, Perry. I'm DL Saint. This is the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. We out of here, y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.